Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Garima Jain from Rajasthan Technical University, Kota. Today we are going to talk on module Employee Health and Safety from the paper Human Resource Management. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the meaning and definition of human resource policy. Having the knowledge of the benefits of human resource policy and the content and source of HR policy, and as well as the differentiation of policy, procedures, principles, and programs. Introduction. Human resource professionals, they play an important role in ensuring employee health and safety, as they know the workplace, the employees, and their job demands. While human resource professionals are not expected to know the technical aspects of workplace health and safety, they should know when and how to use existing resources to respond to employee concerns. In many organizations, health and safety responsibilities are within the human resource department. In order to meet these responsibilities, human resource professionals must understand the health and safety responsibilities of employers, managers, supervisors, and employees within the organization, implement personal management policies to ensure that everyone in the workplace is aware of his or her responsibilities, establish effective ways of meeting health and safety responsibilities, and ensure that employees fulfill their health and safety responsibilities as outlined in the organizational policies and programs. General guidelines for integrating workplace health and safety in human resource management practices. The general guidelines for integrating workplace health and safety in human resource management practices, they are as follows. One should prevent work-related injuries and illnesses, fostering a workplace safety culture in which employees and their supervisors work together to ensure workplace safety. Then establishing administrative procedures that encourage employees to report unsafe conditions and unsafe practices to their supervisors without fear of being disciplined. Developing appropriate hiring, training, and performance appraisal practices. Then recruiting and retaining the best employees who care about their own well-being and the well-being of the co-workers. Ensuring that the health and safety policies and procedures conform with the applicable occupational health and safety legislation and accepted best practices in similar organizations, establishing procedures for enforcing company safety rules, helping reduce costs associated with losses due to absenteeism, injuries, worker compensation, disability, and health care. Then maintaining records of injuries, illnesses, and workers' compensation, coordinating first aid training and the provision of first aid to employees, providing advice to employees and the employer in matters of occupational health and safety.
Health and Safety Program. A health and safety program consists of clearly defined actions to implement the health and safety policy. In a large company, it is desirable to have a full-time safety direction in addition to analysts, engineers, and safety inspectors. The safety director serves as an innovator, advisor, and analyzer. He has to organize safety programs throughout the plant and organize meetings with the line managers. The safety director must investigate and report on every accident. He should periodically summarize all the injuries which have been sustained by the employees during a particular period of time and classify them plant-wise, department-wise, and shift-wise. The job of a safety manager is to educate and train the line managers in the safety measures that should be adopted to prevent accidents and to tell these managers that the safety of employees is in their hands. In some organizations, safety work is carried out by a safety committee. Its function is to ensure safe working conditions in an organization. The size of the committee depends on the size of the organization and generally includes two or more persons from amongst the employees. The idea is that the workers should themselves be involved in the safety programs designed for them. Following are some of the common elements of the health and safety program. The number of elements depend on organizational needs. Leadership and administration is one of them. Then comes the management training, workplace inspections, task analysis and procedures, accident incident investigation, task observation. Now comes the emergency preparedness, organization rules, accident incident analysis, employee training, personal protective equipment, program evaluation system, and engineering controls. After this comes the personal communication, group meetings, general promotion, hiring and placement, purchasing controls, off the job safety, evaluation, and continuous improvement. The industrial accidents. Now, what are industrial accidents and the losses due to the accidents? They may be direct losses. These are the losses to the employer which he pays to the worker for the compensation. Employer also pays for medical expenses incurred on the worker. Indirect losses. These losses arise from the following sources: loss of time of the injured person, loss of time of his fellow workers who stop working at the time of accident to help him or to show sympathy or for curiosity. The loss due to damage caused to the machines, loss due to the reduction in the efficiency of the workers when he returns after recovery. Now the various causes of accidents, that is dangerous machines. These accidents occurs from boilers, pressure vessels, prime movers, transmission system, etc. Then the another cause can be unsafe physical condition. It includes improper guards, improper illumination, improper ventilation, unsafe clothing. Moving object can also be one of the cause. Sometimes moving object or falling object cause accidents. Then the personal factors are also responsible. Like sometimes the accidents occur due to some personal factors like lack of knowledge and physical weakness. Further continuing with it, we can say that exposure to harmful substances can be one of them. Injuries due to accidents are also caused due to exposure to harmful substances like toxic gases, fumes, dust, vapors, mix, and aerosols. Now we shall be discussing as to what safety engineering is. The adoption of proper engineering procedures to minimize and if possible eliminate the work hazards is very crucial for any safety program. New products, processes and machines are designed and full attention is paid to safety engineering in design, layout and installation. The most important function of this, that is safety engineering, is to eliminate the risks posed by the operation of machines, by the processes of the manufacture of products and by the structure and layout of plants and equipment. The machinery which poses danger to the employee working on it is generally covered or fenced carefully when it is in operation. We can further what we can say about safety engineering is that one should use personal protective equipment shall be ensured like safety glasses, plastic eye shields to protect the eyes from the hazards of fire, glare, dust and fumes. Hard protective caps to prevent head injuries, gas masks to prevent the inhalation of poisonous fumes, gloves to protect the hands against acids and explosive materials, safety shoes, overalls, skin guards, and safety apparel for the protection of the body. All these are provided for the use of the workers.
Safety education and training. Safety education for all levels of management personnel and employees is needed as it is vital for any successful safety program. The goal of safety education is twofold. One, to develop safety consciousness among the employees and build up a favorable attitude on their part towards safety measures and precautions. And secondly, to ensure safe work performance on the part of each employee by developing his skill in the use and operation of safety equipment. Some organizations they encourage safety contests and competitions amongst their departments with a view that the numbers of accidents are reduced and employees are also motivated to enforce planned rules governing safety. Employees they are reprimanded, fined, and laid off if they are found guilty of any violations.
Safety provisions in the organization, like the fencing of machinery. Every moving part of a prime mover, every flywheel, head race, and tail race of every water turbine shall be properly fenced in every factory. Every part of an electric generator, a motor, or a rotary converter must be properly safeguarded. Work on or near the machinery. The work on or near the machinery must be done by a trained person wearing a tight fitted clothing. No woman or young person is allowed to clean, lubricate, or adjust any part of a prime mover or any transmission machinery when it is in motion. The casing of machinery. Every screw, bolt, key, wheel, or pinion shall be so effectively guarded as to prevent danger. Every toothed or friction gearing shall be effectively encased. The hoists and lifts. Every hoist and lifts shall be of good mechanical construction and of adequate strength. They shall be properly maintained and examined regularly. Every hoist, way, and lift way shall be sufficiently protected by an enclosure fitting with gates. Hoists and the lifts used for carrying persons shall have at least two ropes or chains separately connected with the cage and balance weight, and each rope or chain with its attachment shall be capable of carrying the weight of the cage together with its maximum load. We will talk about in this is the lifting machines, chains, ropes, and lifting tackles. Lifting machines means a crane, grab, pulley, block, etc. All parts, including the working gears, lifting machines, chains, ropes, or lifting tackles, shall be of good construction and of adequate strength. These must be maintained and thoroughly examined at least once in a year. Excessive weights. No person is employed in any factory to lift, carry, or move any load so heavy as to cause him injury. Next comes the protection of eyes. For protection of eyes, screens, goggles shall be provided to the persons involved in welding, cutting, river cutting, dressing of materials, etc. Protection against dangerous fumes. In any factory, no person is permitted to enter any chamber, tank, pit, pipe, or other confined space in which dangerous fumes are likely to be present to such an extent as to involve risk to person, unless it is provided with a manhole of adequate size. Then the precautions against fire. Every factory shall be provided with means of escape in case of fire. Doors, exit from any room shall not be locked or fastened so that they can be easily and immediately opened from inside while any person is inside the room. There should be well-designed system for detection, control, and prevention of fire. Adequate firefighting equipment, including foam, vapor liquid, carbon dioxide, dry chemical, fire extinguisher, high pressure water lines, fire pads, sand, and access should be maintained. Effective means of giving warning in case of fire to every person shall be provided.
The main focus in occupational health is on three different objectives: the maintenance and promotion of workers' health and working capacity is the first. The improvement of the working environment and to work become comfort to safety and health development of work organizations and working cultures in a direction which supports health and safety at work, and in doing so it also promotes a positive social climate and smooth operation and may enhance productivity of the undertakings. The concept of working culture is intended in this context to mean a reflection of the essential value systems adopted by the undertaking concerned. Such a culture is reflected in practice in the managerial systems, personal policy, principles for participation, training policies, and quality management of the undertaking.
Importance of industrial health. The industry exposes a worker to many hazards which he would not meet elsewhere and which may affect his health. It is with the intention of reducing these hazards and improving the worker's health that the discipline of industrial health came into being as a branch of public health in its own right. Further continuing with the importance of industrial health, the symptoms of bad health are a high rate of absenteeism and turnover, industrial discontent and indiscipline, poor performance and low productivity. That is the reason why when industrial health programs are introduced, both employers and workers benefit, and due to this there is a reduction in the rate of labor turnover, absenteeism, accidents and occupational diseases.
Occupational health and safety in India. The health and safety of employees working in factories and mines have been given high importance in India. The Constitution of India has provisions to ensure that the health and well-being of employees are protected, and the government has a duty to ensure his protection. The Factories Act of 1948, the Mines Act of 1952, and the Dock Workers, that is Safety, Health and Welfare Act of 1986. Companies like Accenture India, Infosys, and Pfizer India, they have health clubs equipped with modern equipments and qualified trainers at the company premises. Public sector units like the National Thermal Power Corporation (NTPC), Steel Authority of India (SAIL), and Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited (BHEL), they provide such facilities in their residential townships for employees. Sessions on yoga, meditation, and other relaxation techniques, they are introduced at the workplace as stress busters.
The health provisions in an organizations. Now, what are the health provisions like the cleanliness, the ventilation temperature, artificial humidification, lighting, drinking water, bathrooms, latrines, urinals, spittoons.
Now I shall be telling you about employee safety measures, that what all precautions or things should be used by the employees in case of safety measures. There's always safety procedures no matter what job you work in. It pays to be alert when it comes to health and safety. Some jobs are obviously more dangerous than others, but accidents can happen in any type of workplace. The best policy is always to prevent an accident occurring in the first place rather than trying to deal with the consequences afterwards. Then one should talk to the employer, discuss any concerns one might have in relation to safety, health, and welfare. If one has never seen it, ask your employer for a copy of the company safety statement. A company safety statement is the basis for the management of safety and health in the workplace and sets out an action program for safeguarding employees at work. Continuing with it, the employee safety measures, he should be alert. Be continuously on the lookout for anything that could lead to an accident. Be aware of the behavior of one's colleagues too. An accident caused by a co-worker could easily impact on others. So, if someone is behaving recklessly, bring it to the attention of the employer. Then, one should not take risks. If one feels that something is unsafe, then stand back and think about the best way to deal with it. If one can't deal with it, tell the employer. Workplace accidents are often the result of human behavior, that is, cutting corners, rushing a job, taking chances. Think about the consequences of a bad accident and make sure you do everything you can to avoid it. Employee safety measures to be continued. And don't make the mistake of thinking that the responsibility for worker safety, health, and welfare rests solely with your employer. Under the law, employers certainly have a wide range of duties, but so do employees, including those that have part time or temporary roles, regardless of any employment or contractual agreement they may have. All employees must comply with relevant laws and protect their own safety and health, as well as the safety and health of anyone who may be affected by their acts or omissions at work. Ensure that they are not under the influence of any intoxicant to the extent that they could be a danger to themselves or others while at work. Employee safety measures. Further, we will be telling you about certain points that one should cooperate with the employer with regard to safety, health, and welfare at work. Not engage in any improper conduct that could endanger their own safety or health or that of anyone else. One should participate in safety and health training offered by their employer. Make proper use of all machinery, tools, substances, etc., and of all personal protective equipment provided for use at work. Report any defects in the place of work, equipment, etc., which might endanger safety and health. After the employee, it is the employer's role also, his duty under the Health and Safety at Work Act. The employer's duty under the Health and Safety at Work Act, that is HASAWA, it is to provide employee with a safe and healthy workplace, and it includes a safe system of work, a safe place of work, a safe equipment, plant and machinery, a safe and competent people working alongside you, because employers are also liable for the actions of their staffs and managers. Further continuing with the employer's duty under the Health and Safety at Work Act, he should carry out risk assessment as set out in regulations and taking steps to eliminate or control these risks, informing workers fully about all potential hazards associated with any work process, chemical substance, or activity, including providing instruction, training, and supervision. Appointing a competent person responsible for health and safety. Competent persons such as head of health and safety oversee day-to-day safety management, oversee safety inspections, and liaise staff safety representatives. Consulting with workplace safety representatives if a union is recognized. Your employer may set up and attend a workplace safety committee if two or more safety representatives request one, and providing adequate facilities for staff welfare at work. Health and safety issues in textile industry. The textile industry consists of a number of units engaged in spinning, weaving, dyeing, printing, finishing, and a number of other processes that are required to convert fiber into a finished fabric or garment. There are several safe and healthy issues associated with the textile industry. The major safety and health issues in the textile industry can be stated as under, that is, exposure to cotton dust, exposure to chemicals, exposure to noise, and ergonomic issues. The suggestions to improve health and safety conditions in textile industry. The seats of the workers and the tables should be well aligned in height so that there is no musculoskeletal strain. There should be proper lighting at the place of work so that eye strain can be avoided. Machinery should be well maintained in order to reduce the level of noise. If necessary, certain parts of machines can be replaced. In case the noise level cannot be controlled, workers should be provided with earplugs so that exposure to noise can be reduced. Workers can be rotated within jobs so that they are not faced with continuous noise exposure for a long period of time. Further continuing with the suggestions to improve health and safety conditions in textile industry, there should be proper ventilation at the place of work. Then, in order to reduce the exposure to dust, workers should be provided with masks. Trained medical personnel and first aid facilities as well as safety equipments like fire extinguisher, fire alarms should be available at the place of work. In units where there is heavy exposure to dangerous chemicals, workers should be provided with safety gloves. Proper dust control equipment should be set up and maintained to reduce the workers' exposure to cotton dust. Medical examinations should be conducted by the employers for the workers from time to time. If significant occupational health problems are observed, appropriate measures should be taken by the management. So, students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. Human resources professionals, they play an important role in ensuring employee health and safety as they know the workplace, the employees and their job demands. While human resource professionals are not expected to know the technical aspects of workplace health and safety, they should know when and how to use existing resources to respond to employee concerns. A health and safety program, it consists of clearly defined actions to implement the health and safety policy. In a large company, it is desirable to have a full-time safety director in addition to analysts, engineers and safety inspectors. The safety director, he serves as an innovator, an advisor and an analyzer. He has to organize safety programs throughout the plant, investigate and collect accident data, organize meetings with the line managers. There are some health provisions like providing cleanliness, proper ventilation, proper lighting, drinking water, bathrooms, etc. that we have already discussed in detail while discussing the module. Then there are some safety provisions like providing casing of machinery, hoists and lifts, protection of eyes, precautions against fire, precautions against dangerous fumes, etc. Thank you.